You are now unmuted.
Hello everyone, welcome back to session 2 of our 2-week engineering conclave series. Our second keynote of the day is delivered by Dr. Bahalul Haque, project researcher at LUT University, Finland. Dr. Huck's Dr. Huck's research spans AI, blockchain, cybersecurity, and explainable AI. He has worked extensively on smart cities, privacy, and data protection, and has published widely in leading journals and conferences, including electronic markets, technological forecasting, and social change, and IEEE venues. With an Edge index of 20 and more than 1750 citations, his contributions are shaping the dialogue on AI literacy and responsible technology adoption. Today, he will speak on LLM over reliance and users' AI literacy. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Bahalul Haq. Sir, I'll give you the presenter.
You are now muted. You are now unmuted.
Yes, I'm uploading the slides. It's just converting.
You are now muted.
So hello everyone. Good afternoon. I hope I'm audible to everyone. So both online and in this platform. So it's a pleasure to be here with you today. And the topic of my talk is over-reliance on large language models and users' AI literacy. So this is, I would say, uh, one of the very timely topic, and it has been one of my area of interest, both research as well as reading. So here I'll be, since most of the users are mostly, I would say, familiar with generative AI, ChatGPT, so I'll be using those terms more often. So uh, just before starting the session, let me introduce myself. So I'm Bahalul Haque. I'm finished my Doctor of Science degree from LUT University in Finland. And my research topic is explainable artificial intelligence, blockchain, data privacy, etc. I have worked on several projects and Business Finland projects, and I have notable publications in TFSC journals, electronic markers, expert systems, and others. I'm living currently now in Finland, and it's been more than 4 years now I'm living here. And my studies include in Germany. Also, I'm from Bangladesh, so it's from Bangladesh. I have finished my bachelor's degree, and master's is from Germany, and my PhD is from Finland. About my research experience, so I would say apart from my faculty experience, uh, I have been appointed as a junior researcher in Finland from 2021, from the COVID time. And after finishing my PhD, I'm right now appointed as a project researcher. And I have supervised students in their master thesis, bachelor thesis, and also capstone projects. So I mostly work from information systems perspective or human computer interaction, and I use qualitative research methods. I'm trying to use quantitative now, and co-design workshops, design science research, and specifically on the core AI, I use NLP, deep learning, and I have published my research in all of these research methods. Several of the research are ongoing now. So uh, here, at first, I would like to start with, I would say, small brainstorming session. I'm not sure how many participants are here, but those who are not here as well, those who are participating online, if anyone is watching, I have seen that you are streaming in YouTube. So if anyone is participating online, they can easily scan the code, and also they can, I think, share. So if you just go to menti.com and then uh, put this code 33893597, or you just scan the QR code, then you will be redirected to some of, so not like Google form, but I just want to visualize the information about generative AI. So I'm not sure if anyone is willing to participate in that. If no one is willing, I can just move forward, because I can see that there are very less participants. So maybe I'll just wait for 1 minute and see if someone is uh, redoing it. Okay, I can see one response. So if someone is there online or anywhere, you can participate in that. And so the first question is about your age group, and the second question you will see mostly uh, for which purpose do you use generative AI tools such as ChatGPT and everything. And after that, so you will have the question regarding uh, would you like AI to diagnose your disease or grade your paper or write policy report, etc. And then, of course, there are other reports that would you trust the AI tools so much that you are willing to give all the tasks to him. So I can leave this code here, or I can leave the link here in the chat box as well. If someone is willing, I will just copy the link so that you can respond now, or you can respond even after, even within today as well. So I'm not sure if I can send it. Okay, so I'm sending the link. I'm not sure if it's possible to share it here. Well, yeah. So you can just go to there. So I will just then go through the other portion of my talk. So here we have seen that there are several things. So do you trust an AI to make your medical diagnosis or grade your paper? And here there is this thing about trust versus autonomy. So whenever we think about an application that is not actually taking my sensitive data, then we tend to think about autonomy only. However, for critical disease diagnosis and other things, we only it's seen that we only uh, uh, think about the autonomy, not only but not about the other things. So in this case, there are some actually, I would say, ethical implication or something, but in most cases, it's about the automation. Because here we are talking about LLMs basically due to the rise of this thing. Because if we see the history of LLM, it has been quite rapid. I would say within the last 5 years, it has rapidly increased. And for past 2 years, we have been interacting with it so rapidly that for everyday task, we are using this ChatGPT. Nowadays, we are using Grok or Gemini and everything. So that timeline has been really intriguing. However, when ChatGPT came into effect, or the generative AI came into effect, we have seen that uh, there are promise for productivity, there are promise for creativity, and also democratization of knowledge, because ChatGPT they or Grok they said that you can access any kind of information from this site. However, there are also other things about that, whether it is giving us correct information or not, and whether it is reducing our critical thinking skills. That's why we need balancing benefits with risk is essential. So, however, one thing is for sure is that with the amount of productivity and with the amount of ease of using this system, it is definitely reducing our thinking time. So we do not think too much nowadays. We only tend to get the information, even often without critically evaluating that thing. So, and for this reason, actually, this actually set the stage of this talk. That how about the over-reliance, or how about we discuss the over-reliance of AI in this case? And I would say that it has been. Sorry, the slides. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So now, since the topic is about over reliance, so what do we mean by over reliance? So, and because we can rely on any tools and we can rely on any kind of technology, it's not that bad. So, for example, we rely on Google Maps whenever we are going somewhere, and we rely on calculators whenever we are doing some math. So this is not bad. However, the over reliance has something to do with, I would say, detrimental effect on our behavior and also on our psychological well-being. So psychologists referred to this reliance as a kind of automation bias. So the tendency of trust machine outputs even when they're wrong. So mm, if AI is giving us something, we are so sure that of course it is giving us the right information. So here we tend to trust the system without even verifying the information. And also then there is cognitive offloading. So what cognitive offloading is, uh, if we can get some information very easily without being able to analyze it, in that case, actually, uh, we can release some of our thinking skills, and we can release some of our thoughts to the AI itself. So, I would say here we have this over reliance effects on human psychology. So here we can see that this one, that trust the machine over self, and cognitive offloading, reduced curiosity, and etc. Without doing these things. So now let's think about some use cases. So I have added here 3 use cases only, because I think these 3 are mostly seen by us, and even lay users use it. So one thing will be very much related to you, I guess. It is about the education. So students submitting AI essays unverified. So now it is for producing, because I have also seen that students are producing assignments and submitting their assignments without even verifying the information, or whether AI is hallucinating about something, or whether the language is correct, whether the citations are correct or not. So that's because there is automation and there is ease of task. So task fit is too much here. However, on the other hand, the information is not critically evaluated by the students. Then there is another very sensitive use case, I would say, and that's about the doctors. So doctors, they tend to adopt AI diagnosis, however, without critically evaluating those things. So this is another, because this is a very sensitive thing. Whenever I was talking to a doctor, we were saying that if somebody has a heart disease, in that case, if it's a very clear yes or no question, then it's okay. However, if if the thing is about very close call, let's say 48% of no, however 52% of yes, then it's a very close call. In that case, we cannot solely depend on AI and just diagnose the disease without critically evaluating it. So real world scenarios also actually show us some of the oversights on reliance on AI. And then this is mostly used. It is about the policymakers citing AI-generated reports in drafts without verifying the sources. So generally, some of the white papers or the reports from companies, they make these reports, and nowadays there is a trend to make the reports with AI. However, I'm not opposing it that we should not use AI. Of course, we should use AI, but whether this AI is actually, I mean, citing the correct sources, or it is just showing the information that we need to know. So that's the thing we have to verify very critically, I would say, and so that we do not lose our critical thinking skills while using this AI. So I'm not sure, but I have asked earlier to some of my students that how critically they use. I mean, they check the information from ChatGPT or from Gemini or from Grok. So most of them have said that they do not actually critically check, but they just take the information and put it there. And I have found that most of the citations are actually do not exist. So, and that's why, for these reasons, we need AI literacy. So, of course, we have heard about the words literacy a lot of time, but however, what about the literacy of AI? So, what kind of literacy skills, or what do we mean by it actually, AI literacy? So, this is kind of the other side of the coin. So one side of the coin is about LLM, using LLM too much without knowing anything, and now it's about literacy. So just as digital literacy has critical in early internet era, so to use internet in early days, we had to know how to use the internet and what the internet does, what our web browser do, and how does it behave. And it took a lot of time just to get acquainted to the websites or to the browsers, because also we can see that the emergence of Facebook since it started till now, the website, the user experience, everything has increased. Now people can use it more responsibly. They are more concerned about their data or not. The same thing is happening with, I would say, AI, or specifically generative AI. So basically, it is about the knowledge, the skills, and attitudes required to critically understand, evaluate, and responsibly use the AI system. So this is the critical word actually: responsible use of AI system. And this responsible use actually make us more aware, and also, I would say, make us safer, and also critically evaluate the information of LLM so that we can trust it very easily. So, and then we can see that, so critical AI trace. So there are three domains that I have said here. The slide is not changing, however, yeah. So here just I have proposed three domains. So one is about technical, critical, and ethical. So technical is like that, a conceptual understanding of how AI works in general. What are the data? What is the algorithm? And what are the limitations? So this is the technical literacy. And another one is critical literacy, which is more about the ability to question, to fact check, or to evaluate the outputs. So if I ask what happened into some place in 2002 or 2003, so instead of just copying the information, or instead of just believing the information that they said, we should actually do some fact checking, or maybe some cross-referencing those information, and also evaluating the outputs. So that is the thing one can, because there is a very, I would say there is a very famous thing about this ChatGPT has been is like whenever we ask ChatGPT to do 2 plus 2, is it actually calculating 2 plus 2 or is it predicting that 2 plus 2 is equal to 4? So what if we give a very complex number, like a very large and complex number to add, and then we check whether ChatGPT is doing uh, correctly or not? So it's about predicting the information. However, prediction can be wrong, and also and also it can show us some of the wrong information as well. Another one is about ethical literacy. So ethical literacy is, I would say, has been area of concern for quite some time, specifically I would say from 2015, 16 something. So this is about area of, so the awareness of privacy, fairness, accountability, and broader social consequences. So uh, are we giving too much information on AI? Are we relying on AI too much? If we want to get some social support or if we want to get mental support from AI, because there has been use cases where the chat GPT or such tools that have been used by people for as a psychological support, as a guidance. So in that case, are we giving too much information? Are we giving too much sensitive information to the generative AI tools? In that case, actually, are they using our information responsibly or not? That is also, I think, a very critical question that we should ask. So that's why with higher AI literacy, the trust calibration will be better, and the users will use AI responsibly, questioning the outputs when appropriate, and also comprehending it with human reasoning. But without the proper, or without at least basic AI literacy, we risk blind trust. And with literacy, we build a culture of human AI collaboration. So, however, the level of literacy is yet to be identified, because AI has recently entered into our life, and the amount of literacy that is needed to be used in this system uh, is yet to be identified, and the skill has yet to be there yet. So then about the risk, as I was saying, that if we do not have adequate AI literacy, then what can happen? So misinformation, of course, and skill degradation. I myself often see that I used to write a report from scratch earlier, but nowadays maybe I take some help from it. So it is not. But if we use AI, overly use AI, and if we do not have the knowledge of how it is giving us information, in that case, and blindly accepting the AI output, it can severely degrade our skills of writing, reasoning, thinking, etc. And of course, there can be biased, and the output can be biased. There is automated bias included in any AI system. So there is a bias. And then, as I was talking about, there are legal violations, there are regulatory violations, and the recently introduced AI Act. I'm not sure if you have heard of it, but of course you have, that the AI Act, it actually calls for the AI Act actually, it emphasizes transparency and oversight and human oversight on AI system, and like the GDPR, like which is more concerned about the data privacy. It calls for informed decision making. So if a system if a system makes a decision, automated decision, then the stakeholders must be involved, must be informed about how it is making it. So we may think that these regulations will not be implemented, but whenever we go to a website, a simple I would say a simple example is that when there was no acceptance of cookies earlier, but now we have to accept the cookies or something, or we have the option to accept, reject, or modify the cookies. So this is actually possible due to this GDPR, and Facebook was recently fined for that, and there were other companies who received massive amount of fine due to non-compliance of these data privacy regulations. So if AI, like if any organization is using AI without complying with the AI Act or something, in that case, there will be similar fine or even higher fine, because this is a very much data-centric system. And uh, since people are using AI too much these days, this is a highly, I would say, this is very important for the companies to conform to the regulations. So what can be, so now we have till now we have discussed the problems of illiteracy and something. So what can be some of the solutions? So I can say that uh, there we can actually integrate AI literacy in school curriculum, so that the students learn about AI, students learn about the basics or how it works and how they can use it responsibly from a very early age. And those who are working professionals, those who are teachers or working professionals, in that case, I would say a training workshop or training sessions can be organized time to time among the employees, and also let's say some of the exercises can be performed. And then of course public awareness campaign, though I'm not sure about this public awareness campaign, because uh, just imagine people holding placard or last holding something occasion in about awareness about AI. So uh, yep, it can seem like a sci-fi movie that we should not trust AI or robots are actually taking over our world, right? The Terminator. But uh, still the not on that scale, but the awareness of this literacy or using artificial intelligence is very much important if we want our skills to be developed, and if we want our critical thinking skills to be there. So one of the solution aspect can be design solutions also. So the design solutions can be this is explainable AI. So I hope you have heard of it. This explainable artificial intelligence. So uh, how AI is doing something, or to increase the user's AI literacy skill. This is one of the things like explainable AI. So AI can explain in a layman's term, which was actually one of my research areas in my PhD as well. That how can AI explain itself to the lay users? It is tough, and I have collected end users requirements earlier, and I can assure you it's really tough. So the solution is yet to be there, but uh, this can be one of the attributes of, let's say, that can impact the user's AI knowledge. And then another thing is that we can use some nudging techniques. So we can use, maybe we can uh, give incentives to some users. Incentives is not, it can be monetary, or it can be let's say leaderboard system, or it can be some of the rating system. So we can, there are various nudging techniques which can encourage the users to verify the information that has been produced by AI. And another thing, it's very easy to say though, however, it's very tough to implement, is human in the loop framework. So also in my research, I have tried to propose frameworks where humans will be included. However, uh, when I talk to the developers, I see that it is really tough to include this human stakeholders or users always while developing the system. So this is one thing. Another one is we can show some subtle information. As I was saying, this is similar to nudging as well, that can discourage the reliance on LLM too much for explainability. So before accepting the information or before accepting the output, uh, we can or we should ask for explanation, or we should ask for the source of information, and we can actually show, and also we can actually I would say, mm, uh, in this way we can see why AI is making decision. However, the explainability of LLM is a total different thing, because there are lots of parameters, billions of parameters. So it's not about explaining the core mechanism of LLM. It is not about explaining the core, like how ChatGPT 4 model is working. But there may be, because there are research ongoing, so there may be some techniques that can trigger the user's thinking skills, that okay, LLM is doing this thing, not the other thing, and okay, I should fact check, or I should double check the informations. So I think so. I mean, I think that uh, this is one of the techniques that can be uh, implemented. So, okay, so let me move forward to another aspects. It is about the policy. Yeah, I understand that policy is kind of boring, and also not many people, specifically the engineers, they don't want to do some research on it, and also the engineers tend to ignore it. However, policy implication can be actually can be a very important thing, and also very crucial, as I was saying earlier, that if there is oversight and if there is regular audit, then policy uh, then policy can be a very critical thing to tackle the over-reliance, and also to increase the users' AI literacy skills. So here, there can be institutional guidelines. So in case of, if the schools are using AI, if the colleges are using AI, and if the universities are using AI, then in that case, there should be strict guidelines that how AI can be used. For example, in journals, and also in, I think in most universities these days, I'm not sure, but at least some of the universities I know, that they have specific guidelines of using AI. Whenever I submitted my thesis, I saw that there were specific guidelines that in to which extent you can use AI, how can you use AI, and why should you use AI. And also you have to explicitly describe that in which sections you have used AI. So there are guidelines in place, but they are improving. They are actually, there are modifications going on, since AI now is integrated with Grammarly as well. So you are using Grammarly to check the grammars of your writing. However, if you use AI enhanced features, then your texts are often rewritten with the help of AI. So, as I was saying, since there are solutions ongoing, and since there are solutions being spread across, in that case, institutional guidelines are needed. However, the research, the research in all of in this whole stream is yet to be, I think, flourished. It is still in a very infancy level. So, and then ethical adoption frameworks, and also mandating human oversight. So, I mean, uh, human oversight can be one of the things that even after implementing the policies in organizations, there should be some regulatory audits. So and there should be some impact assessment as well, like GDPR has some impact on this. DPIA, I believe, data protection or data privacy impact assessment. So in that case, this there should be some AI Act impact assessment. So AIA is something, AI Act impact assessment. So human oversight can always help people actually to also helped the companies to be in line with the policy. So there can be, I can actually, I would say, show you some of the case scenarios. So student uses ChatGPT to write thesis. What are the risks with it? So if they are using only ChatGPT to write their thesis, there can be the risk of inaccuracy. There can be risk of fabricated citations, which we frequently come across. And if you are regularly using ChatGPT, you will see that it is not possible actually to check scholarly contribution by ChatGPT in every journals or in every reputed journals. In that case, how it will, let's say, how it will bypass the paywall of the journal. Some of the journals are open access. In that case, or some of the articles are published in subscription based journals. So how ChatGPT will bypass that thing, and also how ChatGPT will be able to extract the whole data. It can read the abstract, however, how, and whether ChatGPT can actually collect or analyze such a vast amount of information from all the reputed journals in a specific domain. So there can be data inaccuracy, there can be fabricated citations, and also the data can be, brought from let's say some of the blog contents instead of the journals as well. So there will be some discrepancies, and in that case, and the quality will be reduced to a greater extent. And then actually what we have seen in other cases is that there is a lack of originality of the idea. So generative AI is yet to innovate something, specifically in academia, specifically in the domain that we are in. It's yet to propose something innovative. So there will be lack of originality and there will be lack of innovations, of course. So, however, if the students are literate with AI, as I was proposing earlier, then what can happen is that students can actually brainstorm with AI. So I always tell some of my peers and also some of my students is that, you cannot do the whole task with AI. You can use AI as your assistant. You can talk to AI. You can use AI maybe to access some of the blog information or some of the recent information that are written in blogs or something. So you can use deep search techniques or something. But brainstorming techniques can be a very good way. However, it cannot. You cannot directly use or you cannot directly copy the information from there. And of course, then again, the structuring of a report. So you can ask ChatGPT or other tools to structure a report, to structure a thesis or something, or to give you a idea about structuring a thesis and also how it can be done. But that structure needs to be refined by you. So you start with the help of AI, but you take over after a few minutes, or you take over after a few tasks. So this is how AI can help. So AI is kind of your, let's say, personal assistant or personal research assistant. But you have to use it as an assistant, not overuse it. Like you just give all of the tasks to your assistant and you do nothing. You cannot do that. So, and you can only use AI responsibly whenever you have the knowledge about AI and whenever users have the basic knowledge of AI. So, and then of course, critical reflection. So even whenever AI is giving some of the outputs to us, and whenever it is giving us some of the informations and also some of its analysis, then what can happen is that we can critically evaluate the information, and we can reflect upon our own requirements and also what the tool is providing us. If I ask, uh, I think a few days ago, I was asking ChatGPT to give me some of the interview questions related to a specific research topic, and it gave me some of the information. However, ChatGPT did not made up those questions by itself. It, I mean, it basically collected informations, and it basically learned from the informations available. So yes, however, I can ask ChatGPT to do that, because the interview questions, we also often take references from other research papers or other people's interview as well. In that case, it can be done. But whenever you are doing some analysis thing or analytical thing, which needs your creative thinking skills, or such as writing a discussion section of a paper, or writing the finding section of your result, you cannot just depend on ChatGPT and do the whole thing. So, uh, and this can only be understood whenever you really, really know what and how they behave and how they act actually. So, and of course, then there are human powered by AI. So, as I was saying, this thing that AI, you can use AI as a collaborator, not a substitute. So AI can help you, or you can collaborate with AI to do some brainstorming things, but not actually substitute the AI itself. So now I move to the closing remarks. So uh, because there is not many technical things with it, so the session can become boring if I go for too long. However, what we have seen or what we know is that LLMs, they are powerful, but the reliance on it must be balanced. So it's like if you in a workplace or in educational environments as well, if your friend helps you, you can take help from him. But if you are overly reliant on him, then at some point you'll understand that you have reduced your ability of thinking, or your ability of doing the things on your own if your friend is not available. So and also it will reduce your own thinking skills. That's why the usage and the reliance should be balanced. And then the very topic is AI literacy. So safeguard against blind trust. So if you have the knowledge of users, have the knowledge of AI, it can actually seem very tough. It can seem very, I would say, very complex. That how can common people have AI knowledge? It's not about my. I'm not saying that user should have a very critical, or let's say machine like a very critical understanding of AI, but at least how it works, and it can safeguard them against blindly trusting them. So it can do. However, there is one question: is that are we raising empowered thinkers or passive consumers? So that's the question I would like to put to everyone. It's kind of a food for thought for the audience here, that with the help of AI, and are we doing it? Are we like producing thinkers or not, or are we just producing, or are we just, let's say, throwing people into a very deep hole where people will be the consumers only, the consumers of these LLM based tools, rather than thinking, or rather than critically uh, identify and analyze and also give their thoughtful feedback about a topic. Because AI is not rational yet, at least to our level, and AI cannot critically think as well. So This has been my talk till now. Thank you very much for the audience for listening, and I'm always up for research collaboration. And also, if someone wants to take mentorship, specifically the new researchers, you guys can reach out to me at this email. And now, since there are more audience, what I can do is that if anyone wants to ask questions, I can take questions, and also I can get back to the uh, thought collection slides. So those who have newly joined or those who haven't actually done it, you can easily scan the QR code, and there are some very layman's term questions and which you can provide and which I can use for actually in my future talks and also in my future research as well. So here, yeah, so there are this thing. So at first, if you just scan it now, you will find it that there is a question about the age groups. So about the participants, which age groups they are in. And yeah, so I will just, yeah. And then of course, so, and then there is a question about which purpose do you use generative AI, such as ChatGPT, Grok, Gemini, etc. What's the purpose of using this thing? And okay, so I have got answers that a more detailed explanation of certain. I'm sorry, I cannot share the screen maybe, or okay, I can share this.
You are now unmuted.
So that I can, okay, so that I can show the answers. I think
You are now
that's
muted.
Yeah, that will be more convenient. So yes, yeah. So just to give me a moment, I will share this screen. Yeah. So I'll share the screen hopefully. So if you scan the QR code here, then you will see. So here are your answers, I would say. So for which purpose people use generative AI? So I can see that you're using generative AI for learning, for keeping yourself updated, and use it for getting content, create images. Yeah, we do that. And to clarify the doubts. Yeah, of course, to have more knowledge and for keeping information, for keeping yourself updated. Mhm. For different mainly education and learning, explaining concept for learning, browsing, and gain knowledge. Okay, great. So homework, yeah, that's great. Because I'm not sure what the background of the participants, but I think most of them can be students or something like that. But yeah, doing assignments, homework, or report writing is also one of the things that, yeah, great. So as also the audience can see, I think here that for which purposes people use generative AI. Okay, so next, that would you like AI to make your medical diagnosis, grade your paper, or write your policy report? So uh, for which purpose, for example, do you want AI or in general generative AI to grade your paper, or in that case, or also do you want generative AI to do your disease diagnosis? Yeah, so mhm. Yeah, I don't want to make AI make decisions, but I believe that human touch is required. Yeah, that's good. Hmm. Yeah, so here, as I was saying, so whenever people see that medical diagnosis, they are mostly sensitive about it, that they don't want to do it. So whenever the stakes are higher, I would say, and the users are more critical about using it. So what about grading papers? Do you want AI to grade your final exam papers, for example, your bachelor thesis or something, or master thesis, or even PhD thesis? So I think that can be, to some extent, sensitive as well. Great. So I think our audience can also see that there are some interesting insights here. Great. So here's another question: would you trust AI to make medical diagnosis? So one thing is that would you like to AI to make the diagnosis? And that this question is that would you trust AI to make a medical diagnosis or grade paper or something? So there's one thing that, yeah, I like to do that. However, I don't trust this person. Like, I like this person, but I don't trust this person. So maybe I like AI, but I don't trust AI. So what's the view on this trust or something? Okay, that's one interesting side. The suitability of AI for each specific task. Yeah, healthcare, grade paper, and policy report. So far, I have got one response. Is it possible to get a few more? Okay, that's a very big no, because you cannot take a second opinion from any other AI after we diagnose from one. Yeah. So, it's a suggestion, but I don't fully trust it for critical tasks. Yeah, accuracy and ethics matter. Great, and that's what I studied actually, and that's what I thought, that uh, using AI and liking AI and trusting AI is a total different thing. Mhm. Okay. Yeah, of course. AI cannot actually understand human symptoms. Yeah, and also AI cannot understand a patient's emotion as well. So this is a very critical thing for AI to do. Any other opinion? Very interesting thoughts here I am getting. Any other opinion? Okay, so there is now this question that, can you recall a time when you felt you are depending too much on such tools? Is there any time or is there any tasks that the users are depending on AI too much? So those who are seeing this presentation for the first time, you can actually scan this code, and then you can actually start doing it. Yeah.
You are now
So
unmuted.
yeah,
You are
great.
now
So
muted.
I'm sharing the screen here again. so that you can check. Yeah. So yes, so the time when I wrote my whole English project after just typing the question in ChatGPT and even creative thinking ones. Okay, that's good. And for coding assignments, yeah, coding is I would say a very popular task to do with AI. However, uh, I'm not sure if there are vulnerabilities exist and what are the qualities of those codes. There will be so AI generated code vulnerability can be an interesting topic for research for future researchers as well. Yeah, health diagnosis very sensitive, of course. So for skincare, since yeah. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, so I hope it was helpful in this case, since we are doing a skincare assessment or something. Maybe if I'm not wrong, I hope it was helpful for you. Great, those are interesting answers. And if there are, yeah, around my exams, okay, knows more about me than me. Yeah, it actually it is true that it often seems more than I mean it actually often seems that AI knows more about us. That's also true actually. Okay, great answer. Yeah, okay. Tuitions, it's better, it's the best tutor. That's good as well. So when you first start, I used to deliver farewell speech. That's all of, I think a few of us or all of us have done it. AI to deliver farewell speech at my college and used to solve calculus problems, coding assignments. However, I'm not sure about the coding vulnerability because I have also used often to generate codes, but I haven't checked the vulnerability critically about the AI generated codes. So that is an interesting area of uh, to explore, and that's an interesting area of research often as well. Okay, so there are a few more questions, so I'll just move to those questions, I hope.
You are now unmuted.
Yeah, that's a very interesting thing. You- Yeah, yeah, of course. We will wrap up in just a few minutes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's great. That's an interesting answer. Okay, so if
You are now
anyone wants to
muted.
answer this, I will just wrap up in 2 minutes. So take some time. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course, writing drafts, learning helps. Yeah. Okay, so the main thing is about time. So more like automation and time, other things. Yeah, that is actually a good thing. And I would like to ask the host to share the link that I have added in the notes, maybe with the audience, so that they can reply whenever and the session is over as well. The link will be open for 2 days, or I think for today it will open. Yeah. So, do you feel that using generative AI changes the way you approach problem solving skills? So, there are few other questions, but due to the time constraint, I'll have to actually close the session. So, thank you very much for your time, and thank you very much, everyone, for being here for past 1 hour.
You are now
Yep.
unmuted.
And the
You are
host,
now muted.
yeah,
You are now
again,
unmuted.
you can try to share the link with the audience if there is any such opportunities, so that
You are
they can
now
answer
muted.
whenever it is whenever this session is over as well.
You are now unmuted.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah.
You are now muted. You are now unmuted.
Hi, Sharad. Good evening, and
You
welcome
are now
everyone.
muted.
So, just a moment. I'm trying to set up my things here. Can you see me or can you hear me clearly?
You are now unmuted.
All right. Can you see me now? All right. Thank you, Sharad,
You are
for
now muted.
introducing me. Thank you so much for your warm welcome. So it's really too privileged to talk among the fellow educators, researchers, and students. I'm just going to quickly upload my presentation in here. Just give me a moment, please. Yeah, can you see my? Let's.
You are now
wait for
unmuted.
this. All right. Hope you can see my screen. All right.
You are now muted.
It's there. It's in there. Don't you see that? Don't you see my presentation? It's in
You
there.
are now unmuted.
All right. You can see it, right?
You are now muted.
Okay, then. Good. Fine. So it's. I think you have. And in India, it's a nice evening, isn't it? So it's afternoon here. It's 1:30 p.m. And I'm very glad to meet you all today here. Today, that I'm going to talk about a topic that is going to be really fascinating. So I think you have heard a session about AI literacies and LLMs. I just joined in for the last 5 minutes, so I just heard a few. So it's going to be literally, it's similar to that, but here today we are just going to look about the future of artificial intelligence and its ethics for responsible innovation. So I believe that there are some Gen X and Gen Y persons in this session, right? So those who born between 1980s and 90s. So they all know about this story about the IBM's Deep Blue computer beating the chess. It beats the chess champion Gary Kasparov. So at that time, many thought that AI had really peaked. But today, when my phone suggests my next sentence before I ever thought of. So imagine just simply what 2050 will look like. So my goal here is not to overwhelm you with all these technical jargons today. So but simply to spark reflection. So it's less about this session is less about what AI can do, but more about what we should allow AI to do. So let's just quickly begin the session. So can you see the slide two? I hope you can see the slide two, right? Can you just give me a thumbs up or any reactions? All right, okay, fine. So if you look at this picture, you can see that we are actually in a crossroads in here. So on one side, AI promises some astonishing opportunities, some medical breakthroughs, ones which are thought really impossible, and you can also we are nowadays getting personalized education for every learner and even solutions to some of the humanity's greatest challenges like climate changes. So on the other side, if you look the other side, you can see AI raises some serious questions about bias, privacy, and displacement. And these kinds of questions are actually where that already philosophers have wrestled with for centuries, but it was now made an urgent by these AI algorithms. So you can see an eye symbol in there, right, on your AI side. So if you look there in the darker side of AI, so that eye symbol is actually an IDA robot uses that eye symbol to encourage people not to accept any AI-generated contents, such as deep fakes or and it actually allows us to promote some critical evaluation of what we see. And you can just think of AI as a fire. So you can see the fire right in the picture. So in the right hands, it really gives you light, the warmth you can see there, and you can see the progress in there. But if you look the other side in the wrong hands, and if you lift and check, this fire is going to become really dangerous and destructive and unpredictable for you. So here, our task in this session is not to fear the fire, but we needed to this we're going to talk about more about these ethical choices, and we are just going to learn how to use this AI very responsibly. And I think um, I think there, I don't know who are joined here. I think there will be some students, there will be mostly faculties as it is a faculty development program. So there will be many faculties in here. And I think we the educators, who better than us, the educators, will lead that conversation, right? So we are better in leading it. So I don't say it because AI is not a technological revolution, it's actually a human one. So the way we choose to teach about it, to use it, and need to question it, and we need to regulate it. So whatever we do as the educators, it's really going to ripple through generations. So over the next hour, I'm just going to explore, so or as let's say that we will explore together the future of AI and the ethical choices it demands, and most importantly, the role that we play to ensure that the innovation remains responsible and also as inclusive and human centered. So, so I think I want to start this session with some sense of duty for everyone. So as I told you earlier, the future of AI is not being written by machines, but it's being written by all of us in this session here. So students, you could be a researcher, or you could be a faculty, or you could be somewhere, you're working somewhere. So, all right. So let's move on to the next slide. So, okay, so if you look here, we generally we started with what is called a narrow AI. So these are the systems which are built to do one very specific job very well. So you can think of spell checks and spam filters and these Netflix recommendation engines. So they don't understand anything, but they simply just detect the patterns in it. So then we moved into generative AI. So like your Chat GPT, DALI, or any music generation models, they don't just analyze data, they actually create it, they generate it. So that's why they are generative AI, right? So suddenly they started creating lots of answers or assignment and anything for the students. They started to draft code and they create images that we really could not imagine before, right? So now we are looking at autonomous systems. So autonomous systems is like, I think, self-driving cars. You all know that. So they are the very best example for that. But here you think about drones delivering medicines to you, our AI systems managing entire stock portfolios with some little human input. So, so this you just in order to just keep this in your mind about this narrow AI, generative AI, and autonomous systems, you just think of AI as a student, all right? So student in early days, do they just simply memorize the facts, isn't it? So that's the narrow AI stage. And in the generative AI stage, the student begins to write, the original assignments or the or essays or whatever. They start to write on their own. But in the autonomous stage, what will the student do? So they start to move out of the house and of the house to make decisions on their own, isn't it? So that is the autonomous systems. So if you look at the real-time impact, or you can say that today's AI in action, so millions of people are actually using these AI-powered assistants like ChatGPT, GitHub Pilot, and this Copilot for coding and GitHub Copilot. They don't just save few minutes for them. They actually completely they change their workflows. Whether it is a student using it for their assignment drafts, or for a developer who is trying to write a code with it. And if you look at the DeepMind AlphaFold 2, so perhaps it's actually one of the profound breakthroughs. So this AlphaFold 2 predicted the 3D structure of over 200 million proteins. So this actually unlocked the biological puzzles that scientists had been struggling with for half a century. So imagine that an AI now compressed decades of lab work into really months. So this is what is the AI today. And future trends, if you look at the future trends, we can see that AI partnering with biology in drug design and genetic mapping, and in the pandemic predictions. So if you take robotics, so we can see smart machines that they don't simply process the language or image, but really they can act like in the physical world, right? They help with some elder care. They help with surgeries. Robotic surgeries are famous in here, and agriculture. And in education, you can already see there are lots of AI tutors. So if there are any students here, they will definitely know. So imagine every student having some 24/7 personalized coaching, and that coach, it's not going to just simply analyze your mistakes, but also he's going to learn all your learning styles, and he's going to recommend based on that learning style and your mistakes. So if you take governments are exploring AI for some law enforcement, for policy makings. I hope you have heard it from the previous session. So when we talk about AI today and tomorrow, it's not a linear path at all. So it's going to be exponential. So the systems that we see now are actually not at the finish line. So they are just the warm up. So the real question is not whether AI will change our world, but how responsibly we will shape that change? So that is the question here. So let me just quickly show you the next slide. So we just seen how AI has grown from narrow AI tools to generative engines and soon into some autonomous systems, right? But let's simply pause here and let's also look into some extraordinary possibilities that AI has already unlocked for us. So these are these things in here. So what I mentioned is so I think you also heard about this in the previous session. So you have to think of AI not as a replacement, but as a co-pilot. So who is a co-pilot? So it is going to sit beside us in the cockpit, right? So suggesting, it's going to drafting, and it's going to help you brainstorming, while humans is going to remind the pilot in command. Okay, so if you think about writers, so nowadays writers, they really use these AI tools like ChatGPT to bust through their blank page syndrome. So it's blank page syndrome is something like they will not know where to start. They will just simply sit and spend more time on a blank page, not knowing where to start. But so this in this scenarios, so these kind of AI tools are really going to help them. And if you consider researchers, literally, it's going to really help researchers using AI to draft their literature reviews in minutes. So it has been long earlier. And a Harvard professor had just come across this reading where he used Chat GPT to generate, a large scale survey, and this took weeks before was done in hours, so that we will get more time in doing the deeper analysis rather than on these data collection parts. So it's not only in education. So in education, again, if we were to add more point to it, see, one of the most inspiring frontiers of AI is education. So imagine that if there are students in here, you just simply imagine that you have a tutor who is going to be very patient, as Socrates. So there is a method called a Socrates method. So as Socrates, and he's going to be available with you 24/7, and for every student, and in every village, and in every language. So you just think about it, all right? So I can give you one example is Khan Academy's Khan Miko. They use this GPT to tutor the students with some interactive Socratic dialogue. So it's more of let students to find their own answers using some thought-provoking questions rather than providing them answers directly. It's good, isn't it? So it can adjust its explanation to the student's pace. Some students might be slow learners, some would be a quick learner. So its explanation will always be at the pace of the student, and it will give you instant feedback. And the important thing is, it never lose patience. So something even the best of us, the lecturers, sometimes struggle with, right? The two at night 9 p.m. During this marking week, if we get questions or doubts, we would be we lose patience sometimes. So this is like this AI in education is like giving every child well, every village even to giving their own private mentor. So something which is really, historically reserved only for rich people, only for royalty and elite people. So, but now it's available to everyone. So that is good. And if you take that, AI is really saving years of this drug discovery cycle. So what was once done, actually, what was once, like decades of time spent in, the trial and error in labs can now be compressed into months of some computational predictions. All right. So if you look at this COVID, time period, so during that COVID-19 period, the AI models helped these researchers to scan vast libraries of compounds in record time. So today, companies like Moderna, they use AI-driven models for their RNA designs. So, and also a clinical study, which is a recent study, showed that AI system, it's detecting breast cancers with 97% accuracy. So it really by outperforming these human radiologists in some certain trials. So, and also we are watching the dawn of AI assisted pharmacology now. So where double-blind experiments will happen there. Now these double-blind experiments now may include not just humans nowadays, but also some algorithms. These algorithms. So so these are the major things where AI have set its path. And if you take climate, AI is just it's not just about healthcare and classrooms, and I think it's already taking these climate changes. So this is one of the greatest challenges of many countries. So Google's DeepMind AI reduce the energy which is needed to cool the Google's data center by 40%. So if I want to give you another example, you can see AI which forecasts wind patterns and this solar availability, and this helps these grid operators in the solar energy panels. So every solar panel, feeds into this grid when needed the most. But if you take in justice, predictive policing, in predictive policing has been proven to disproportionately they target marginalized people. So in one field, AI is a lifesaver, but in another field, it's like life risker, right? So when people ask me whether AI is going to be dangerous, is AI is dangerous? So my reply would always be that every transformative technology is both a promise and peril. But right now, the promise is actually breathtaking, and AI really helps us teach better, it helps us to cure faster, and it helps us to live more sustainably. So the question is, will we embrace this responsibly? So let's move on to the next slide. So far we have looked at this promising side of AI, right? The miracles in medicine, education, and sustainability. But as with every great invention, there are some shadows that follow the light, isn't it? So, and if we don't carefully look at those shadows, we really risk stumbling into them. Let me ask you a question to think about yourself. If an AI gives a wrong recommendation that leads to harm, who do we blame? I think this question was already asked by the previous one, but I'm just asking you, the coder or the company or the user. So we can't blame anyone, right? So this is where this makes ethics a foundation. Okay, I think my video is frozen. So can you see me, Ishrat?
You are now unmuted.
I don't feel. Can you? You can see, but it's frozen in my screen
You are now
here.
muted.
All right, then fine, no problem. If you can see me, then fine. All right, so let's just talk about this bias and unfairness just baked into these algorithms. So AI here is only as fair as the data we going to feed it. So and because the history has shown us that the data really is going to reflect our human biases, gender, male or female, race, social class, and geography. North American culture, and from the Asian cultures, the European cultures is going to be completely different, right? So the data that we feed, it should be fair. So Amazon's AI recruitment tool, was scrapped because the reason is it completely discriminated against women applicants by favoring male-dominated, post. So in the resumes, so that's why it was scrapped. So in other words, we can say that AI did not invent these bias; it actually inherited it, which means that we must teach AI not just to learn, but also we must teach AI how to unlearn it. So if you consider bias, it's like your Xerox machines, it's like your photocopiers. It's if your original page is going to be smudged, every copy, after that is will carry the same stain, right? Only it would be multiplied. So next risk is another risk is privacy. So A surveillance nowadays, the A makes surveillance very cheap, fast, and it's sometimes invisible, right? So with this few algorithms, systems can really track the faces in the crowds, predict the movements, and even they analyze the emotions, right? In some cities, you can see facial recognition cameras. They monitor the public spaces without citizens' consent, and this raises, the civil rights concerns, right? So the same AI that helps your phone to recognize your face in the morning can also be used by the government to recognize the protesters, right, in the streets at night. So these are one of the risks, and the third one is, AI isn't just reshaping tasks. It's literally nowadays it's reshaping the entire professions, right? From customer service chatbots replacing call centers to generative AI writing some articles. They nowadays summarize the legal documents. And we are seeing really skill sets being challenged nowadays, right? A recent McKinsey study suggests that as many as 800 million jobs could be displaced globally by 2030 due to this automation and AI. So, but remember, please remember that this isn't the end of jobs. It is actually the end of routine jobs. All right. So, just as electricity killed the job of a lamplighter in earlier days, but it gave birth to electricians, engineers, and entire industries, right? So this challenge isn't the extinction of work. It's transition and fairness in who is going to benefit from this AI. Okay, so the final one is like the autonomous weapon. So the darkest shadow is autonomous weapon. Okay, so AI driven drones and systems are capable of making these life or death decisions without human command. So this is not some science fiction Terminator. It's already happening. Small drones can identify the target and attack without a human pressing a button. So in 2020, I think, the report surfaced that the AI drones had been deployed in conflicts in Libya without direct human control. So this, if you think here, this crosses an ethical red line, isn't it? In humanity, which has barely been discussed. So here lies the tension of AI. It's a tool that can tutor someone, that can heal someone, and save the planet, and it can also discriminate unfairly, and it can disrupt lives, and it can threaten the global peace. So this is which brings us back to a bigger point that AI does not lack intelligence, it lacks values. And this is where ethics comes in. Okay, so what are we going to do with this duality of AI, the promise and the peril? So what are we going to do with? So this is where ethics comes in. So, but let me be clear up front, okay? So, ethics is not a way of slowing down our innovation. Ethics is like a way which gives us, direction. So, please, so that's why I mentioned ethics is not as a brake pedal, but GPS. It gives you only direction, it will not slow you down. So, because too often, nowadays, ethics is seen as a brake pedal. They think that it's going to slow down the technological speed, but think about, what good is speed if you are heading in the wrong direction? So you won't just reach the wrong destination faster, but you will crash sooner, right? So that's why I mentioned that please ensure that we are going where we actually want to end up with, right? We should not go somewhere, right? If you don't have any direction with you, where will you end up with? You will not know, right? So how many of you would really have the guts to get into a driverless car without a GPS or telling you where it is going? So that's where we are AI without ethics. Okay, so the 5 pillars of AI ethics. So fairness. So these are the very important things. The 5 pillars. So fairness. Does the system work for everyone equally, or does it privilege one race, one gender, and one group? Let me give you an example. Facial recognition systems in the US have misclassified darker skinned women up to 35% more often than the lighter skinned men. So, fairness means inclusive data sets and bias correction. Okay. So, if you look at transparency, do we know how this algorithm made its decision, or is it a black box? You will never know what is happening inside those algorithms. Most of the algorithms are pre-trained algorithms. You will not know the internal working or functions of these algorithms. They're black box, right? How it works? No. So would you let, let's say in justice, would you let a judge to convict someone without explaining the evidence? No, right? Then why should an AI deny someone's bank loan without explanation? So, am I right or not? So, let's look at accountability. So, why is accountability important? Because who takes the responsibility when things go wrong? Okay, so the engineer, again, do you blame the company or the government? You can't sue an algorithm, right? Because it has no pockets. So, with great power comes great responsibility. So, humans must take responsibility for the impacts and the results of those technologies, right? So, the next thing is privacy, next important pillar. So, how are we going to? The next question here raises is about privacy is how do we protect identity and personal freedom in this age when every click, every face, and every location is data? Whatever you do is converted to data now, right? So AI in policing has led to some wrongful arrest when facial recognition actually misidentified some suspects. So it's actually this will become a devastating consequence for some innocent people. So next, that comes this human dignity. So perhaps the most important question here is, does the use of AI preserve dignity? So an algorithm might save costs in healthcare, but if it treats the patient like numbers instead of people, it completely erodes humanity at its core, isn't it? So let me just give you an example in your way. Think about a student. A test score is his data. You will know, but behind this test score by a student scored a mark. So behind this mark, there is a human story, and the dignity is ensuring. So we need dignity to ensure that we never forget that the AI doesn't know about this number. It's a number for AI, but we definitely know about the student and how he scored that mark, isn't it? So if innovation is going to be like a rocket, so ethics is like a navigation system for the rocket. So the rocket, because if you don't uncheck it, AI could take us anywhere. And if you check it, and if this AI is going to be guided by fairness, transparency, accountability, privacy, and dignity, then it can really take us somewhere worth going. So this is my point in here. And now ethics is not just in theories. It is lived in real time as well, in real choices that we make. Sometimes we do, right? So let's explore together, okay? A few dilemmas that show how AI forces us to rethink responsibly, you know, and fairness and human values. So let me start with the first question. Should AI replace professors or empower them? So in universities today, AI can generate everything, isn't it? It will help the lecturers to generate materials for the students. It will help to grade their some submissions, and it will even tutor the students one to one. So the question here is, should AI take on the role of a professor, or it should simply empower the professors? I think there are some lecturers in this session, right? So how many of you think AI should fully replace teachers one day? And how many think it should never replace and it should only support? You can just use your public chat to post your answers. Just post your answers here. If you think that AI should fully replace, just mention replace, fully replace. And if you don't think it should never replace, then just simply post never replace. Are there any faculties in here in this session? Okay. So the point that I am trying to make here is that AI can explain things, AI can scale, but it cannot mentor and it cannot inspire, or it cannot understand the students' struggles in this profoundly human way that educators can do, right? So Google can answer questions, but only a teacher can teach you how to ask better questions to Google, right? So we need it. The students need us. So next question is, imagine an AI recommends a treatment plan. I think this, and a patient is harmed. Who is accountable here? The doctor who accepted the AI's recommendation, or the programmer who trained this model, or the hospital who that licensed it, or the AI itself? So which one do you choose? It's again a question, right? So who will be responsible? So in some hospitals, AI is already in place. They in place for reading these X-rays with high accuracy than radiologists. So, but radiologists still carry the legal responsibility if any mistake occurs. So that's why I'm saying, would you accept? Would you just think of yourself as a patient? All right. So would you, as a patient, accept AI making some medical decisions if no one can ever be blamed when something goes wrong? All right. So this is why accountability is such a core pillar of this ethical AI. And the third question is, now it's dive into this one of the classical ethical dilemma, all right? So self-driving cars. So a self-driving car is forced into an impossible choice, okay? Now it needs to either swerve into a wall and risk its passenger's life, or it can run into a pedestrian crossing the street. What should it do? Just tell me. So if you have answers, you can post it in the chat. So just simply post it in the chat if you think the car should save the passenger, or if it should save the pedestrian. So here is the twist. If you think that you are going to save the pedestrian, all right? If you're going to save the pedestrian on the road. My next question is, would your answer change if you were the passenger sitting inside that car? really, just think about yourself. You're sitting in the car there. So these judgments are currently being made not by those who have doing the philosophies, but by the coders, designers, and the companies that so often they do it without any debates, right? So here is the reality is AI forces the ethical choices into engineering code. Every line of code is in a way it's going to be a line of philosophy. And so the dilemmas you have wrestled with now, these questions which I asked you to, that you have thought about, they aren't abstract. They are already being designed or decided in some labs, in hospitals and classrooms today. So this brings us to the next question of how do different cultures and their nations answer these ethical puzzles differently? So if you look at those dilemmas that we just wrestle with, who teaches or who heals as a doctor, or this the question regarding these medical professions and who decides, they again I said they don't just exist in these classrooms or in car companies. They are global questions, actually, the questions which I asked you. So, and the answers for these, it will vary depending on where you are, which part of the globe you are. So let's say that Europe has taken, let me just give you an information about this European AI Act. So this is actually, Europe has taken the lead with this act. This is the first comprehensive legal framework for artificial intelligence. What it will do is it will classify the AI applications into unacceptable risk, high risk, and low risk. For example, real time biometric surveillance in public spaces, that is nearly banned, and AI in medical devices, they are highly regulated. So think of it like AI is sorry, this European AI Act is like building some traffic lights like on your road, on that highway. Think of AI highway, and there are some traffic lights for you with red, yellow, and green. So it will prevent crashes before something happen, right? So that's just the way they have developed many levels to for these AI applications. So many companies designing AI globally, they now will adapt to these EU rules just as they did with the GDPR data privacy. And the next one is this at a global level is UNESCO. So they published the first worldwide framework on AI ethics in 2021, and this was endorsed by nearly 200 countries. So it what it emphasizes, it emphasizes human rights, it emphasizes the sustainability and inclusivity. So that's very important. For example, let me say UNESCO really stressed the importance of ensuring that the data sets that we use, definitely it should include voices from global south and not just from the Silicon Valley or Europe. Because if our data doesn't represent the humanity, definitely AI won't either, right? So the data set should include everything, right, from all the countries. So let's look at these, why it's different. So if you take Europe approaches AI with a rights first lens. They always give priority to the rights, privacy, dignity, and fairness. That is why the European Act looks more cautious, and it will safeguard the citizens first and the innovation second. Okay, so it's always rights driven. And if you take US, they are always innovation driven. And in the United States, the focus is on innovation and market freedom. So if Europe, I said Europe builds some traffic lights, right? What US will say? The US says, let the cars race, but sue them if they crash. So litigation and market-driven regulation are the main tools here. So self-regulatory companies, only self-regulatory companies like some Google, Microsoft, or OpenAI, they tend to lead this kind of conversations, but not federal laws. And if you take Asia, they are collectivism driven. So in several Asian nations, the ethical framing is completely different. So there is often, a collectivist approach. AI is seen as, something that strengthens their social order, the safety, or the national progress. For example, China's use of AI you can see the Chinese use of India's social credit, they have it, and mass surveillance. So it is just it's actually justified as public good in their context, even if that alarms the Western audiences there, Western people there, but China does that. So here is the question: here is whose ethics should become the global standard? Should it be the cautious European approach, the free market American approach, or the collectivist Asian one? So, or the final thing is, or do we need a completely new shared language of AI ethics? So, the global picture of this, if you look at this, what it reminds you, AI does not operate in isolation. If we don't harmonize the ethical standards across borders, we risk something worse than an AI's arms race. We risk AI's values race. So where only the lowest standard will win. And that is where education and universities become even more critical. So now these global frameworks, whatever I said, like the EU Act or the UNESCO guidelines are critical, but let's be honest. Okay. So these laws that we have seen now, they usually sometimes lag behind technology. So by the time these regulations, catch up, the world has already moved on. And so who has the immediate role in shaping how AI is used responsibly? Any answers? Who has this role in shaping it? It's you, it's me, us, right? The universities, the colleges. So what we should do is we should no longer think of AI literacy. I think we have gone through a session, complete session on AI literacy, right? So we should no longer think of AI literacy as an optional one. So just like digital literacy or just like statistical literacies that become mainstream, understanding AI must be a part of every discipline, all the disciplines, either it's going to be business discipline or a law discipline or any humanities courses. So let's say some examples. Some universities now require first-year students, regardless of their degree, to complete some basic AI essentials module. So every student, I don't want every student to become a machine learning engineer or AI engineer, but every graduate really should understand AI's potential, AI's limitations, and AI's ethics. So these are important. So academia has unique role not just in teaching AI, but in questioning it. And I think universities are this bedrock for this research on fairness and accountability and ethics, right? So if you let me give an example from this MIT's gender shades. Okay, so MIT's gender shades study, they exposed racial and the gender bias in facial recognition systems, and it forced companies like IBM and Microsoft to rethink their models. That work started in an university lab. So sometimes the most important discoveries is not what AI can do, but what it should not do. So the final point is perhaps, as I said, the most important role is teaching students not to unquestioningly trust the AI outputs. Just because the AI can generate a beautifully written work doesn't mean that it is going to be correct or it is, unbiased or original, right? So if you have seen some students who co-wrote any assignments with some AI, you should teach them on the critical reflection skills. That's where they will become stronger than ever. So I know that you have already attended these Menti quiz on whether if you have ever whether you have tried about any AI for writing your tasks or writing your assignments or doing your tasks. So I have seen those answers as well. So I just don't want to ask it. So you just self reflect yourself. I'm not saying this. I'm not talking about about not about banning AI. Okay, it is about teaching students how to use it responsibly as a starting point and not it's as a final answer. Okay, they can definitely use it as a starting point. So your students are not just learning how to use AI, they are really building tomorrow's rules about how AI should work for the society. So every line of code they write or every ethical choice they make, it is think that it is history in the making. All right, so if universities or let's let me next question. So it's if universities are preparing students for an AI enabled world, okay, what the next question is, what is left for us, the humans, okay, if AI is going to do everything, if machines can code, if machines can paint, if machines can compose something, even poetries, what makes us unique, right? So I have these two images here, right? Can you tell the difference between the AI and human generated images? The difference is in this one isn't exactly subtle, isn't it? The image on the top is actually the Dawn Club. It is a photography actually by a pioneering American photographer. So there are two photographs I have given to you. The second one is the Summer Club photograph. So what do you think here? So which is human generated and which is AI generated? The top one or the bottom one? Please post your answers in the chat. I'll just give you 2-3 seconds to analyze. So you look at the pictures. What do you think? So which is the human generated one and which is the AI generated one? You can just type in top or the bottom. The top is the Donald Club photograph and bottom is the Summer Club photograph. You can post on the chat. Okay, someone said, okay. There are people typing in, all right.
You are now unmuted.
Okay, so first is human
You are now
generation
muted.
and second you said AI generation, right? So what remains human only here? So how do you identify that? That is one of the AI art's problem. So if you look, it focuses only on the aesthetics with little regards to the structural integrity, right? It's been an issue since the dawn, and it's still an issue now, even with Midjourney's latest model. So the second one is the uh, AI generated because you can see this superhuman length arms, right, of the women on both the ends. Somehow they merged into one long arm. Sometimes images using AI, you can see six-fingered hands. So these are the things where despite these breakthroughs, AI still lacks something fundamental. So the lived experience, moral judgment, and the can write a poem, but only a human can truly fall in love with the poem, right? So a machine can generate a melody, but only a human can cry when hearing it, isn't it? So how many of you have heard AI generated music or read some AI written stories? Just post yes if you have really have heard AI generated music or any AI written music. How many of you? Okay, among you just think about how many of you actually felt moved by them. Really, you felt moved by those music. Just type in yes if you are really moved by it, right? So it would be very less because perhaps we should stop thinking of AI as artificial intelligence. Okay, so here that's why I'm saying a more helpful model would be augmented intelligence. The goal here is not to replace humans at all, but to simply amplify it with the human capabilities. So doctor can use AI to scan medical images. AI improves the speed and accuracy, but human doctors still provide the context, the empathy, and the patient conversations, right? So this is the powerful shift in the mindset from artificial. If we treat AI as artificial, it sounds synthetic to you, right? Possibly, if you say artificial, you feel soulless. But if we treat it as an amplified intelligence, it transforms from a competitor into your collaborator. Okay, so a graphic designer once said that when I use AI, I don't feel replaced. I feel like I have gained 20 interns with me. But that graphic designer is going to be still the creative director. Okay, but he feels like he has 20 interns. So machines add speed, but humans add meaning to it. And the meaning is what makes the innovation really better. Okay, so the big question is, will AI think like humans? So this is the question is here. So how can humans use AI to think bigger, deeper, and more compassionately? So that is the future we should actually aim for. Okay. So if AI is here to amplify us and not replace us, the next question is how do we build it responsibly in real practice? So just like we audit banks for financial integrity, we need to audit the algorithms for ethical integrity as well. So we need to test them for bias, fairness, and unintended harms. And ethics in AI cannot be left to only computer scientists. We need philosophers, lawyers, sociologists, and educators like us in room with these engineers. Okay, in 2018, I think, yeah, it's Google's AI health project. Failed in India, in rural India, because the AI could not handle poor lighting in village clinics. So, if social scientists and field practitioners had been engaged it earlier, this would have been stopped sooner, right? So, responsible AI is not just about better code, it is about better conversations across disciplines. So, perhaps the simplest step with the highest impact, we have to design AI with inclusive data. So, that is what I would like to insist here. If we only train AI with the Western or English language sources, we're really going to exclude billions of voices and we are going to bake inequality into the system. So really, even today, if you listen, voice recognition systems today even often struggle with women's voices or the accents outside North America because they were all trained with the North Americans, isn't it? From the Silicon Valley. Why? Because that's what I'm saying, because they were trained mostly on male native English speakers. That's why I struggle with women's voices. So, final thing is transparent explainability. So, as I said, the algorithms should not be like black box, should not be like a mysterious black box, not knowing on what is going or happening inside. If an AI denies you a bank loan, you should know why. If an AI recommends a medical treatment, then the doctor should be able to trace the reasoning. Okay, so it's like in your case, we can say a student submitting an as mentioned by the previous speaker in his session. It's like a student submitting an essay with no citations, no reasoning, and just a conclusion. Would you accept it? Right? You will not accept the student's work, right? If that doesn't have it. So then why do you need it to accept from an algorithm? So, as Margaret Mead once said, she's an anthropologist. What people say, what people do, and what people say they do, they completely or entirely different things. So which is exactly why we say that transparent matters in AI too. So because what the model outputs may not really match the logic inside it. Okay. So responsible innovation is not about slowing down, it is about steering wisely. So if we build AI with audits, inclusivity, collaboration, transparency, these four things, then we don't just innovate faster, we are innovating it better. And so, how do we actually translate everything that we have discussed so far, the dilemmas, the risks, the analogies, everything into action right now in your classrooms and departments? So, just let's make it personal, okay? So, students don't just learn from what we teach, they learn from how we behave. If we model some skeptical, transparent, ethical use of ChatGPT or similar tools, then students will copy that, right? So you can start a seminar by openly saying that you can do that, right? Here is what I asked an A2 for help, and here is what I had to fact check it. You can say it. So we are not teaching content here, but we are modeling the conduct to the students. So instead of you banning AI tools, we should teach students to challenge them, ask, where did this answer come from? Whose data trained it? Whose voice might be missing in that? So these are the questions students should ask. So students, for example, if they wrote part of their work or assignments, anything that you ask them with an AI, but ask them whether they have to submit a critic diary. So the diary should explain what the AI got wrong or incomplete. Okay, so ask the students. You can also ask the students, like, how many of you have had, I think most of you have experienced this, even I have experienced this. Many students handing over us the AI work or text without citations, right? So it happens. So parts of this responsibility, innovation, is embedding ethics into the technical courses. So engineers like us or you are not just solving problems, you are actually asking if those problems are really worth solving in the first place. All right. So at Stanford, AI ethics is taught as a required part of computer science course and not as an optional course. Okay. So because you code an algorithm in 3 hours, but its social consequences, really it's going to last for 3 decades. So students should understand that. And also I don't need to and over I don't need to overhaul some curriculum overnight. Even some small moves will help, requiring students to declare how or when and how they used AI. They can cite some AI contributions just like they cite some books or journals, and you can reward their honesties. And it's like academic referencing 2.0. Let's say we have taught students to cite books, journals, and websites. Now, this 2.0 academic referencing is going to have citations for AI tools, the prompt that they use to generate those answers, and that should be a natural next step. So this is what I am adopting in my courses here. So I'm just want to share it with you. So you can next. So the closing point here is that you don't need to shield your students from AI. It is to guide them through it. So to model, to question, and to embed ethics, and above all is to normalize transparency. That is very important. This is how we create not just some skilled graduates, but some responsible innovators. And the next thing is, so if these are some practical ways we can take today, or what about tomorrow? So where might we be heading in the next decade? So let's take a moment to imagine the future together, okay? So experts predict that by 2035, it will be deeply integrated into at least half of all the professions, from medicine to law, agriculture to arts, everywhere. So farmers, I think already they use AI drones to monitor the soil and crop health. So and lawyers, they rely on AI to scan thousands of the legal documents in minutes, right? And the musicals are experimenting with already AI as a creative partner. I learned lots of music I heard, the AI generated ones. So this isn't the end of the professions. It's like the transformation of the professions. So too often we imagine AI as replacing the workers, but What if AI is really our first non-human colleague? It's just like your friend. So your colleague would be helping you, right, with the ideas to catch mistakes and to manage some complexities at a scale, but which no human can handle, right? And I think there are many of you, even I myself, of already using our AI tools like an assistant, not even like a colleague. Okay, it's like my assistant during your own work. So, which will help me to complete my work, quicker. So now in these slides, I have used lots of AI generated images. So in minutes, I can create these images. So earlier we have to, search for these images. Now I can generate the images of my own. So I have a few images which I have cited it properly, but if I need some customized image, I can generate it easily, right? And if we harness AI responsibly, it may not be just another industrial revolution. It could be really a new renaissance. So, imagine if the Da Vinci isn't it? So if we had an AI assistant, what would the Renaissance have taken 300 years? Do you think? No, right? Or just 30? So when we talk about the future of AI, it is not about whether machines will think. They already do. The real question is, will humans use this partnership with AI to think bigger and to act more responsibly and to create a fairer and wiser world? Okay. So we have imagined the future in AI in classrooms, in hospitals, governments, and even in shaping arts. But that leads us to the most important question of all. What legacy of AI do we want to leave behind? Did we use AI to empower or to exploit? You just think, all right, just close your eyes and ask yourself, did we really unleash wisdom or just unleash speed? Just, 5 seconds. Just close your eyes and think about yourself. This is like self reflection to you. So that legacy is completely shaped by the choices that we make today. So we are often in a race, for who can build the biggest, fastest AI model. But innovation without responsibility is simply just a recklessness, with some badges. So you can't. It's like building some supersonic jet without designing where it leads. Yes, it moves fast, but where is it heading? So responsible innovation means we prioritize long-term human values over some short-term hype. Okay, so some critics say that ethics will slow down. As I say, I'm repeating this. When you think of ethics not as brakes, but as a navigation tool, it changes everything. So ethics is like a compass to you. It ensures AI innovation creates only trust, not fear. Okay, Timnit Gibru, she is an a renowned AI researcher. So it's like a statement from her. The real risk with AI is not that it will become too smart, but that it will reflect our stupidity if we don't design it well. So that's why the future of AI does not belong to the technologist alone. It belongs to the educators like you, me, and everyone. So because we are equipping the next generation to build not just some clever algorithms, but some wise ones. So as we close, let me be crystal clear. AI will not decide its destiny, human will. Okay. And the final slide, I think we are, it's almost past an hour. I'm sorry. Okay, so let me finish it quickly. So the future is not AI versus humanity. It's going to be it's AI with humanity. So it should amplify our creativity. It helps us to challenge us more, to be more ethical and more human than ever before. Okay, so please remember that innovation sets the pace, and two things: innovation is going to set the pace, and ethics will set the direction. Together, these innovation and ethics together, they are going to set the history. Okay, so this is what is the takeaway for you today. So just keep this in your mind. So that's fine. And I think I have reached this time. So thank you really everyone for giving me not just your attention, but I think you have imagined along with me some things, and you have envisioned few things as well. And isn't Ishrat, right? So, and with that, I would also love to hear from you. So, my email ID is in the title slide. So, you can contact me through my email ID if you would like to share any of your reflections that are on your mind. So, you can definitely do that. And
You are now
I think
unmuted.
it's
You are now
almost time.
muted.
So, thank you so much for inviting me, Dr. Kishore.
You are now unmuted.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye bye. Have a nice day. Thank you.
You are now muted. You are now unmuted. You are now muted. You are now unmuted. You are now muted.
Thank you, Shraddha. Can you hear me?
You are now unmuted.
Just give me a minute. I will share my PPT with you. Is it visible, my PPT, to all of you in the presentation?
You are now muted.
Sorry, I couldn't able to hear you. Can you come again, please?
You are now unmuted.
Is it visible in the presentation mode, my PPT? Not in the presentation mode.
You are now muted. You are now unmuted. You are now muted.
I hope it is visible now.
You are now unmuted.
Great.
You are now muted.
Let me know when would you like me to start the topic. So then I'll make a start from my end. It's all good now. I think so. It's all set from my end.
You are now unmuted.
Okay.
You are now muted.
Thank you all of you for having me in your as a part of your conclave 2020-25. As just the brief introduction Ishrat has already given, my name is Geetika Jain. I'm an assistant professor in the digital transformation at the business school, Keele University, UK. Just a bit about my work. I work into the interdisciplinary aspect with respect to the from the facet of the technology. But yeah, I do cover the various aspects from the finance, from the social aspect, social sciences, psychology a bit. So as we talk about in today's scenario about the technological aspect, so technology has a solution into the different areas, different disciplines. Those days have gone where technology was not considered to be the part of any particular solution. These days, wherever, whichever field you will work in future, you will see technology plays a significant role there. And especially like if we talk about today's scenario where it is more from the generative AI. So today is my topic on the digital transformation in the age of AI. So when we talk about the digital transformation, um, just I would like to share a small, a story before we will go deep into the technical aspect. Because it is really important to understand what exactly transformation is all about. I'm sure all of you doing your engineering from the understanding of your university. So you must be obviously in a day-to-day basis. You are working on a different various solutions, various platforms, or even working on the different apps or something. But you know maybe in a 2 years or 1 year down the line, you will be working into the market as a practitioner. You will be maybe starting with the maybe a system engineer, or maybe a developer, or maybe a test engineer, or maybe somebody in this forum who may be from the business background, thinking of using their knowledge into the business solution. So it is really important for you to understand where exactly is the problem, and how do you see that as a business opportunity, and how will you use your knowledge into that. So that is the most important aspect. So when we talk about digital transformation, uh, I will give you a very basic example for you to understand and see which area where you would like to work in future, will where you will use the technology, where you will bring your own knowledge into that particular area, and maybe you will see that there is no particular solution is existing there. So like as you you have heard from my profile, I was working earlier in India, so my family is there in India as right now. So like a week ago I was talking to my father-in-law, and he was having some health issues. So when I used to be there, I used to search for doctor, find it out who is going to be the best person based on the specific problem. So right now when I am too far from there, I would want to find it out a specific doctor or specific specialist who would be able to provide that to understand his problem. So what I have done, I have talked to him, understand his problem, using the generative AI to understand more about it, like what kind of this problem is, because I'm not a from a medicine background, but yeah, using the generative AI, I try to understand the exact problem. Then using the various apps, like one of the app which everybody uses, the Practo. So I use that app, try to find it out the best possible specialist and taking his the person's appointment. And then using all these tools, I have tried to, even the phone number was available. I tried to connect with the with that particular doctor's reception, did the chat with them to try to understand everything. So when you are like, this is a very basic example, so sitting far away from that place, I still was able to provide the solution. So how would that be possible? This was only possible with the help of technology. Otherwise, if you go back like 10-15 years ago, you will not be able to provide such kind of solution. So what is exactly, or what I have done is the part of digital transformation. So this will give you a very basic understanding. So if you will say digital transformation is only about technology, no, it is not about technology. You need to understand from the customer shoe, you need to understand from the user shoe, where exactly is the problem and how will you be able to solve that problem. If you will come up with some technical solution and that will not solve any problem, then it is of no use. So this is the most important aspect which you need to understand. So when we talk about digital transformation, we always say it is the big elephant in that room, which is very difficult to understand. So you need to, because it is highly disruptive in nature in today's scenario, when you are having generative AI, blockchain, cloud computing, all these solutions. So understanding the disruption is the most important aspect, because it is the big elephant in the room. So you need to understand how will you use technology, how will you apply the technology, how will you increase the user experience, UX UI, what exactly you will do to solve that business problem. So when we talk about disruption, it is important that you need to, as I said, that you need to understand the business problem. So it, at a surface level, it may look as a strategy, but how will you move, or whatever the strategy of your business is, how will you convert into the implementation? Because implementation is the core aspect. Sometimes you may be having amazing ideas. You may say that, oh, I this is the idea which where no one has a solution in the market right now. So don't just straightforwardly jump to that particular aspect. Think about it. It may there there may be a chance before you. So many people have thought about that, why they haven't came up with a business solution, because maybe for that particular business problem, the opportunity is not that big as compared to the cost it will incur. So implementation is the most important aspect. If implementation is not seamless, that means your business solution which you are trying to deliver may go haywire. So that is where you need to understand how will you achieve that. What you need to work on your blueprints. You need to work on the understanding the business problem, not just from your understanding, but understanding the business problem 360-degree from the different stakeholders perspective. You need to get into their shoe and see where exactly is the problem area, or we call that as a wicked problem. So where exactly is the problem, and how will you deliver that solution? So before I move to the core aspect, I would like to share some basic understanding about from the definition point of view, so that we all will be on the same page. Rather, I will be talking something and you will be understanding in a different way. And I'm sure you all you all will use Google. So Google is a good tool, but sometimes it creates a lot of trouble as well. When we talk about digital transformation, it is a journey that we have taken from digitization to digitalization, and now it is digital transformation. According to this article, which has been published in Forbes, what exactly, according to this article, it has mentioned from the definition point of view. When we talk about digitization, it is just the process of changing the analog to digital. So when I say analog to digital, it means that we have already gone through this journey when there was no computer. People were just having everything in the hard copy records. So moving from the hard copy or analog devices to digital devices, that was digitization. Then from digitization to we have moved to digitalization. So in case of the digitalization, the using any of the technology or any particular app, any particular platform to improve your business processes or maybe business model up to certain extent. So that was the whole aspect of digitalization. Like, what exactly we have done, like somewhere 10 to 12 years ago. All the companies now, I don't see any particular organization, they don't have a digital presence. Each and every organization, whether small or a big organization, they have the digital presence. The digital presence means like you can go to their website if you want to connect to them. It is doable, right? So how digitalization is different from digital transformation. So when we talk about digital transformation, it is the process of change. So when we say process of change, it is like when, for instance, if I will say that you want to improve your business, you can improve your business. There are various things you can do by that. For instance, I will understand, like right now, if for instance my business, my annual turnover of my business is, let's say, $1 million. I will say in the next 2 year or 3 year span of time, I want to increase this to 10 million. So jumping from or making your business tenfold, increasing by tenfold, it is not that easy. It may look easy, but it is not that easy. So the very basic question will come into your mind: how will you reach to that position, right? So maybe you will look at improving the customer experience. You will say, oh, I will give a very good customer experience so that everyone is going to talk about my product. Like the best example here is Amazon. So when Amazon hit the market, people were not thinking about is that it is possible that product is going to be delivered at your doorstep. So that is something they have started with, that which was the customer experience. So you may say that, oh, I want to give that wow factor of the customer experience. That would be one way of looking at it. Or you may say that if right now I'm giving the product, let's say for £10, I want to reduce that cost. I want to deliver that product to the let's say £2, right? So achieving that, again, you have to work a lot. Like that is where if we look at globally, China has worked. They have done amazing work on the technology that they have achieved on the economies of scale. How if any other country, they are able to manufacture that particular product, they are manufacturing the same product at a less cost. Yeah, there are so many arguments maybe on the quality or other aspect, but yeah, they are able to achieve that. That is something most important. And or may say that you may come up with saying that, oh, right now I am only targeting one market, let's say only Asia, but I want to target other markets. So that could be also one of your strategy. So there are the various ways by which you can increase your business. So to increase that business, whatever the methodology you will pick, like you will say, I will only work on process, or I will work on the business model, I will work on the cost, I will work on the customer experience. So you need to work on your business processes, existing business processes. You need to work on tech. You need to work on the understanding the culture of that particular geographical region where you now thinking of moving to, because each and every country has a very different culture, so you need to understand that culture very well. So you just can't straight away go forward. Like I always say in my classroom, the best example to understand the culture is the MACD understood the culture of India amazingly, and that is how they target their with their product. So you need to understand the culture, you need to understand the customer experience, because in some countries customer experience is something else, or for customers, in some other countries it is something different. So you need to understand. So by understanding your existing processes, by understanding your customers, how will you work and deliver the best solution? That is what is digital transformation. This is what in today's scenario each and every business is trying to do, to work on their existing processes, to work on their products, doing lot of R&D so that they can reduce the cost, various aspects. So that is where what is digital transformation. So now when we talk about the digital transformation, I always say, you need to understand the most difficult question. You need to ask that most difficult question. Like if somebody will ask me, like I get lot many requests of, from various students that should I go for PhD or not? Should I go for postdoc or not? So, I always say it is the most difficult question that you need to ask yourself. Are you actually ready to do that? Because each and everything on this earth, you have to put a lot of cost, lot of time, lot of energy. It doesn't come free of cost. There is no free lunch on this earth. So you need to understand that whatever you are thinking of doing, like let's say like companies, they say that, oh, we want to go for digital transformation. Digital transformation doesn't come free. It comes with lot of cost. And when we are saying there is a cost is involved, so each and every organization, they do not want to make it as a fail project. So they want that the success should be there, because there is a top management, there is a hierarchy in the organization. They can't afford, because there is a lot of cost is involved. So you need to ask that most difficult question, that why do companies need digital transformation? So this is a very good Forbes article where they have discussed about various aspects. I'm sure it is publicly available, so any one of you would like to go through in deep detail, just Google about this title, and you can read the complete article. It's an amazing article which has talked about the various aspect, which we call it as the thumb rule, the ask, having the answer on the 4 Ys and 1 H, or sometimes some people say 5 Ys and 1 H, is like what, where, why, how, when. So if you are having the answer of these questions, why do you think that you want to go for digital transformation? Where exactly, in which aspect do you think that organization should go for digital transformation? When do you think is the right time? And how are they going to do it, which is the most difficult question. So you need to ask these questions before jumping for the digital transformation. And again, this is another article by the Taylor and Francis, where they have mentioned that globally so far $2.3 trillion have been wasted. It is like, you can say it's a wasted, that various organizations, they have started with the digital transformation, but later on they found that it was not required for the organization. After going ahead with the digital transformation, they found that, oh, they were not ready for that. Like, as a human life also, sometimes we think of doing something, but before going for that, it is important that we need to analyze whether we are ready for that or not. Because going for digital transformation, it is not an easy thing. It is a highly complex in nature, because you are going to come use different technologies, you are going to use different solutions, and there may be a chance that your in-house team, your in-house workforce, they are not ready for that. They are not ready in terms of how to work on complex solution, how to work on AI, how to work on blockchain. So it is really important that you need to understand that your organization is ready for it or not. If they are not ready for it, then it is going to be a failure. So you need to understand first that and make your organization ready also. That is most important. So when we talk about digital transformation, the digital transformation, sometimes what I see, people consider, take it like a, they consider it like it is a amazing thing. But when this look at the reality, it is something else. So that is why I always say that, is it just a buzzword for you, or is it a reality? So it is important that you need to see the reality of the digital transformation. Like, I know all of you are from that generation where, you have had in your hand the smartphones, right? So you think it is the best thing in life you can have. If those who, in case if any one of you won't have that. But that, whenever you are using a technology, it comes with a lot of responsibility. So you always have to understand that. So when we are talking about digital transformation, it is not just a buzzword. You need to understand the value of digital transformation. So this one article which I have mentioned here, it's from HBR. So this article has mentioned about not just from the facet of the technology, but from the analytical point of view also. So when we talk about digital transformation, as you can see here, that in this article, it is mentioned that any particular organization, if they are going ahead with the implementation of AI or any of the other complex tool, it, as I said, it comes with a lot of cost. So think about that. Are you ready to have that much of cost? Because these days, companies, they do not have that much of money. The money is the very crucial aspect. So, like, even if you will put your workforce also, that also comes with a lot of money. And another most important aspect is that some people who are having that expertise in that area, they come with lot of cost. People, if somebody knows that this is my forte, they charge you heavily. So companies, they need to understand that, is it really possible for them? Because if they are putting efforts in terms of money, if they are putting efforts in terms of bringing some change into the organization, it comes with cost. So they need to understand the ROI of that. How are they gonna get the that investment, the huge investment, how they're gonna get the return on that? So that kind of questions they need to ask, and which we in a technical terminology, we say it value. So if whatever the investment you are doing, it is not bringing you value, it is a failure. So that is the most important question. Promise, yes, it is a big promise, because those who have done that, it has brought so much of business for the organization. So how to deliver that promise, which is, we'll call that as a digital business transformation? I'm sure all of you must have seen the COVID time, right? During COVID, the businesses were closed, those were on completely 100% physical transactions. Why? Because everybody was at home. They were not able to go to the physical stores. So, but there were companies who have understood the value of technology, who have understood there may, like, what may happen in future. So they were a bit ahead of time. So they started, already tried their hands with the online aspect, or the e-commerce or e-business aspect. So during COVID, they made hell lot of money. Why is it so? Because they have understood the requirement. The same what have happened in case of the other companies, like they the another I would say the best example is here again, Amazon. So Amazon understood very well that this kind of scenario may come. Amazon was the only first organization who actually used the AI first into the e-commerce platform. They have developed their own algos. The algos which didn't even require the traffic from Google. So how would you change all that? That is also another important aspect. Yes, promise is there, but how will you do? And the most important, which, as I said, like reality, you can't ignore the reality. The reality says that, as per according to the statistics, 70% of the digital transformation projects, they fail. And one of the best example to understand is the Meta. I always say, give the example of understand the Meta project. I'm sure all of you must have heard the story, how much money the Mark Zuckerberg has put it on the Meta project, which was the ambitious project of Facebook, but it was a big failure. So that is really important, that you need to understand the failure also. You just can't ignore the failures and see the possibility and the probability of the failure there. If the probability of failure is very high and you can't afford, don't go for it. Right? This is always, we give the advice to the businesses that don't go for such kind of transformations. So here I would like to little bit emphasize on on my past projects. One of the project, both the project was funded project by the government. So as you see on the left hand side, this is a published study already now, which was funded by the Spanish government. So what exactly we have done there? We try to understand the adoption of the blockchain for the MSMEs in Spain. So in the region of Barcelona majorly, and the nearby other two-tier cities in Spain. So in this particular study, we have tried to understand if the new technology is being adopted by the organization, what are the challenges, and how would it be possible, because it is highly complex in nature. So we have used from the theoretical reflection and abstraction point of view, the theory which is the mark the theory which has, we call that as a innovation theory from the TOE framework point of view. So in this framework, which is taking the technological aspect, environmental aspect, or the organizational aspect, and linked it with the TAM. The TAM, which is, we call that as the milestone study given by Davis. So how, if, for example, tomorrow you may come up with a solution, a technical solution, you need to understand whether your potential user, according to you, that, oh, these are my potential users, how would be the acceptance of your solution? That is really important. Like, I'll give you one example. When I was working in India, so We have done a study. It was a primary research to on the again on the technological solution. So at that point of time, I'm talking about 2007, 2009. So at that point of time, they were very similar to now. We are having different chat solution. So there was no such chat solution for public available apart from the Skype and all that US based. So we wanted to try our hands on such solution. So we had a big failure. Why? Because cost was the one aspect. Another aspect was we didn't analyze properly the acceptance of user. So whenever you are coming up with any of the solution, you need to understand user experience and user interface also. How well the user for them to work on that particular technology or use that particular solution. If your solution is not user friendly, then it is going to be a failure. That is something which we have tried to understand in this particular study. How would be you will be using TOE framework with the technology acceptance model. So we have taken the data of approximately 1,500 MSMEs, and through this particular study, what exactly we have found? We have found that this complete paper, if any one of you would like to read, it is available on public source. So the major aspect which I want to share here is what we have found through this study is the role of the top management, as well as the user experience. Their intention to adopt is also the most important aspect through this study we have found. If the top management is not ready to try their hands for that particular solution, then it is going to be a failure. Like that I always give the best example to understand the top management role is in case of Nokia. Nokia was at one point of time was the market leader in case of the in the industry, the telecom industry. But at one point of time they were bankrupt. Why at the time when it was the last public conference, so their CEO has mentioned that we haven't done anything wrong, but we didn't understand the market trend well. So you need to understand the market very well, where exactly it is going. So if you are not going ahead with the change, you are going to have a failure. So top management role is most important. And this is another study on the right hand side which we have done in collaboration with Fraunhofer. It was funded by Fraunhofer and the European Blockchain Center when I was working there in Denmark. So this study, what exactly we have, again, it was on the Danish industry to understand the labor market from the blockchain impact of blockchain solution or from the economic impact point of view. Here in this particular study, it was more of again the primary, but here we have done the quali study, rather quanti. And it was a grounded, we have used the grounded theory, so to understand the market well. So again, approximately 1,200, if I'm not wrong, we have taken the sample of the MSMEs to understand the requirement of the industry from the adoption point of view, from the technology understanding, whether that particular solution is right for the company or not. Are they ready to go for such complex solution? So everything. So this is just we have done, and we in order to understand the failure aspect, because as I said already that according to other as per other studies also, in case of the digital transformation, the failure rate is very high. It is 70%. It's huge. So it is important that you need to understand that the failure should not happen, what are the things you have to keep a track on it. So when we say the failure aspect, but I always say that you need to see the opportunity. You need to see how you are going to get your ROI. Even like we always say that in case there may be a failure, we always ask that where exactly is the learning. Okay, I see a comment here from, if I am pronouncing the name right, it's Paramananda. I have a question. How do we eliminate bias in AI system? How you're going to eliminate the bias in AI system? That is, the most difficult question. The research is going right now. Even I was going to come on that, because I have been recently funded by the UKRI on my 100K project. This is something where we are working right now. It is like, I don't know how many of you are actually interested on the AI solution. That is where we are right now working on the fintech based AI solution, which is right now using AI. I'll give you a very basic example. Like somebody is gonna any one of you in future may think of, okay, I want to buy a home, and you will submit your mortgage application or loan application. So this is in future is going to happen. You will be seeing that AI is going to make a decision on your application. This is already happening in some countries. So AI is making a solution on the basis of your application, your profile, your data, which is available with the banks. But this is what research says, that AI is making that decision is based on certain biases, which in technical terminology we call that a hallucination. So how would we eliminate the biases? How we will make the system more, you can say, robust? That is where is the challenge is right now coming. It is not only the bias, it is unethical practices also. Like if tomorrow AI may say blacklist a particular person based on certain data and ignore the other aspect, then who is going to be at question? That is right now the current research is going on. Because if it is the human element is attached to it, it is going to be a very very difficult scenario in future. And like those who are I don't know any you guys are working on AI solutions or not. If you are working on AI solution, that is where you have to train your elbows. Like that is where I always say the students who are coming from the global south, that you need to work on the tech to that aspect, that you can make your those elbows learn. You need to provide them that kind of coding, that it should not have that bias. I'm sure you all must have read about various cases on Instagram, right? Even on Instagram, the algos are biases. So that is how how will you eliminate it? Is I think so. It is $1 million question. It is you can't do that without training the algos. It is not possible, and that is where all of your role is going to come in future. You have to come forward. I hope I have answered your question. So moving back to the presentation. So when we talk about what are the some ways by which the organizations can optimize the operations, customer select experience, and also, as I said, the return on the investment. That is where is the most challenging aspect for any organization. So according to this recent research by Grandview, it has mentioned that AI market is going to grow in future, which we all are agree that it is going to But I know some people, I don't know from where these kind of thoughts comes, that after AI is going to come, people will not have a job. No, it won't be like that. AI, after AI, the jobs market will be there, but the job market will be highly complex in nature. It will not be like you will be doing those redundant tasks which people were doing like 20 years ago. No, it will be more complex. Like as a human, we are, our brains are very sharp. Our brains, we are having that creativity which machines are not having. Machines can only think based on the kind of training humans are providing to them, right? They can't create something new. They can't create, think beyond the numbers, think beyond the availability of data. That only human can do. That is why in future it will not be like the jobs will be based on redundant tasks which machines can do. Obviously those people, those who are thinking, they will be like I've seen so many engineers, they will be just thinking like, oh, I will be just doing the coding. No, that that kind of job will go, because AI have already started. I am sure all of you must have tried your hands using Chat GPT or DeepSeek or maybe Perplexity. Different available solutions are available, so you can get the code within a few seconds. So those days have gone where you will say that, oh, I am writing a new code. No, your brilliance will come if you can write a code which is of let's say 100 lines, and you can convert in one line. That is where is your creativity is going to come, which maybe machine can't do, right? So according to the another study of Harvard Business Review, it has mentioned that we must never blindly trust AI tools output. That is the most important. If you will be thinking that that is what I have been initially I have mentioned that AI is not having that creativity. AI is not having those five senses working every time which humans have. So that is where we need logical thinking, we need strategical thinking which AI can't do. And it is important, as a human we need to see what exactly we can bring on table which AI can't. And that is where is the role of technology comes. So when it comes to AI technology for digital transformation, as the very recent report of PricewaterhouseCoopers, AI is estimated to boost globally by 15.7 trillion by 2030 and contributing to 14% increase in the economic output. So if you look at the economic output, so it is a journey. It's a journey of from machine learning to NLP, then computer vision, and finally, which is like RPA, robotic process automation. Like right now, if you go to any automobile industry, you go to their assembly line, the in any organization, even like in context to India, it's Maruti Suzuki. So if you really want to see how robotic process automation works, you go to their assembly line and you will see that 90% of the car is getting manufactured by robots. It is only the fitting, the external fitting or the body is done by humans. So this is how, with the help of machine learning, with the help of AI, all these processes are being designed. So when we talk about analytics, yes, analytics has a huge role. It goes hand in hand. Why? Because like if you have to understand the market well, you need to use maybe predictive analytics, or maybe just the basic understanding. Maybe you will use the descriptive analytics. It depends upon the scenario. Are you going to use predictive, prescriptive, descriptive, or what exactly? What kind of analytics are you going to use? So you will feed the data, you will feed the all the information to your algos. And that is where the machine learning role comes. And then you generate an output. That output is going to be read by the which we call that in today's scenario is the AI. So artificial intelligence, which you are creating artificially, feeding into the elbows and generating that output for you. So when we talk about digital transformation, so in the digital transformation, AI is having a huge role. Why? Because whatever the problem is there, you will feed the data. You will ask the AI to provide you the broader picture in the real time scenario. So that is where the role of AI is huge in terms of understanding the market well, and accordingly you will design your solution. So what are the key drivers of the digital transformation? So it is about technological innovation. Like these days, if somebody asks me like, is it one technology, using one technology, can I say it's a digital transformation? No, those days have gone. It is more of amalgamation of different technologies, be it AI, blockchain, big data, cloud computing, all of that. Why? Because consumer expectations are changing day by day. Demand is, every day the new kind of demand is there from the customer. They want better solution, more personalized, and also seamless, digital services. Customers, they want every solution in a real time. That is where, like, those days have gone. If you will talk to your parents, I'm sure they will tell you that those days when, if they used to have a problem, they will wait for a day. Next day they used to go to that shop, and that mention that, oh, there is a problem with the product or this and that. Now nobody wants to wait, because that is why these days each and every organization, they are having their chatbots. That if a particular, you can't interact with the human, you can interact, maybe you will find a solution using chatbot. So with the help of chatbot, you are having 24/7 solution. So that is another aspect. External collaboration and proactive engagement, yes, because these days it is, I'm sure you must be following the geopolitical issues these days. It is no more a game of one country, it is a game of globally, because technology, due to that is why we call that as an information age. It has gone beyond borders. It has, where the regulators, they are looking at it, what kind of solution is required, and how they are going to collaborate, external parties, all that, and so that they can develop that ecosystem in order to provide best solution with at a less cost. And also the competitive environment is, it's highly competitive right now. If you are thinking that this is the current trend in market, by the time you will have the expertise, you may be, you may experience that nobody is required that kind of that fast. It is highly competitive. So many new startups are coming, and people are coming up with the solutions which maybe the traditional businesses, they can't afford to, or they don't have that expertise to provide those solutions. So when it comes to redefining the technology and businesses, I'll just give you a brief snapshot of the work which I'm doing. If any one of you would be interested, you can approach me. I would be more than happy. As this is the very recent work which is right now published in the form of book. What we have done in order to come up with a sustainable solution, how would technology has a big role. So we have actually taken a different case studies on the various funded projects by the European Union. So we have listed various solutions from the sustainability point of view, from the different sectors, from different industries, from the textile industry also, from the energy sector also. So different case studies we have taken into consideration. Then there is another project which right now I am doing, which is on the Stoke model or the pottery spoon. It is on the, if I'm sure all of you must have heard about, in India it is UPI, but when it comes to digital currency, there are very few countries who are having digital currency. So that is what in UK we are working on the digital pound. So it will no more be like you can have the transaction using digital currency. So which is more like on the CBDC, which it is not something like you may say that, oh, I am having a credit card, so it is a digital currency. No, that is not a digital currency. That is, you are using a different platform to do a transaction. Digital currency is different. So this is something we are right now working on it. And there is another project which based on the question of earlier question I shared. That is right now I am working, which have been funded by UKRI. The project which we are working on is the in case of AI hallucination on the financial services point of view, which is a very core aspect right now, because it is already in the market, but regulators, they don't have any knowledge how they are going to control it. That is where is the biggest challenge. So we are working on right now in my team. I have the research assistant, so we are working on the different solutions with respect to technology and the business point of view. So this is one snapshot which I would like to share with all of you. Is that from the digital transformation ambition? So it is like you see each and every organization, they may be at a different level of transformation stage, but it is the part of digital transformation. You may be at level 0, you may be at level 1, you may be at level 2, or maybe at level 4. So, based on the level at which the organization is right now, you are the part of digital transformation. And that is where the role of the top management is going to change. So, if you see, like, I'll take that one example, like, if an organization is at level 1, which is advanced digitization, so the role is different. So, that is where you may be using the same business model, you may be using the same market, but you may change your revenue generation streams. You may be working on your new technological solution in order to advance your processes. So this is how you are going to make the change based on the level at which the organization is right now. So the most important, which I'm sure all of you would like to hear, because you all are right now in college or university. So where exactly is the future trends? If you maybe, like, let's say you will pass out after 2 year or maybe a year, how will you see there is an opportunity. So when I talk to someone, I always say, look around you, what kind of solutions are there in the market, how will you change that solution, because you consider yourself also a customer. Don't exclude yourself. So the future trend which is in future is going to be there is on the working on the responsible AI. That is where right now huge big area which is everybody is working on it. The responsible AI, ethical AI, how are you going to remove those biases of AI? That is where right now the current work is going on. Hell lot of work is going on. How we will, if like we are totally dependent, our system is dependent on AI, or any organization is using AI solution. Like take the very basic example, like so many, or I think so all most of the 90% of the organization right now using AI to shortlist candidates. They call the candidates, they put some keywords and put it all the CVs into the AI, and then AI, look at particular person and match the profile. Or if the profile is uh, right now market trend is that if your profile is going to match, let's say 40% and above, then only they are going to call you for interview. Otherwise, they won't call you. But see, the question is here: if a particular candidate has used those keywords in the CV and AI has picked those keywords, that means the job is not done. There may be a scenario the candidate they lied about their profile in the CV. There may be a chance which AI won't be able to figure it out. But in case if a human will have a scan of the CV, they can easily figure it out that there is some mismatch. So that is where is the question is coming these days. How would we eliminate those biases? How we will make AI solution more robust, more responsible, more ethical? That is what is right now the current research is going on, and so many organizations they are working on it. They are trying to make a more robust solution, and that is where is the future. If like any one of you thinking like which area we would aspire towards, so that is the area where you look forward 1 year, 2 year, or 3 year down the line. So this is my contact. If any one of you would like to reach to me and you would like to explore an opportunity to work, I would be more than happy. And thanks so much for listening. And if you have any question, I would be more than happy to answer that. That's all from my side. I'll just stop sharing my PPT here. Yes. Any one of you would have any question, please ask me. I'm more than happy to answer your query or any question.
You are now unmuted. You are now muted.
How we can connect to you in future for any help? Ajmat, I have shared my screen. Oh, maybe you can. I'll share it again. Maybe you can, scan the QR code. So then you will reach directly to my profile. So this is the QR code for my LinkedIn profile. So it's easy, more convenient for me and for you also. In case if you want to write it down, so I have shared my email ID as well. So you can, but I would suggest better you connect me on LinkedIn rather writing to on my email ID, because I get 100 emails every day. So it sometimes it's difficult. I will take some time to reply back to you. So it's good that you connect me on LinkedIn. That is the best way. Any other question? If any one of you have, I would be more than happy to answer. No question seems. Ishrat, are you around?
You are now unmuted.
No. Yeah, from my side, it's done. If anyone has any question, I would be more than happy to answer that. Yes. all of you are,
You are now muted.
young. I always say you are having super energy right now. This is the time where you need to devote your energy to solutions. Not, I would say solution. I would say experimenting, because this is the age where you can do a lot of experiment. Believe me, in my age, no one can do the experiment because energy level goes down. So I would say, whichever area you like, try your hands, work as much as you can. This is my, I don't, I see like, in the current generation, which, sometimes I tend to feel bad about it. If you ask me, if I when I was of your age, I have worked, 16 hours a day. I wouldn't say that it is a good, from the sustaining point of view. No. If you ask me today, no, I don't work 14 because I have to manage my health as well. But yeah, at a young age, I would say that go for it, because 3 to 4 years, do lot of hard work. Otherwise, the kind of competitive in the market, it is going to be very, very difficult for you to survive, because uh, right now the kind of competitive market is, it is really important that you need to make yourself not a jack of all trade but master of one. So like, everywhere it is AI. If you want to go for AI, good for you, but pick one area. Don't go for like, you will say, oh, I know everything for AI. Believe me, those who say that I know everything, nobody hires them. So pick one area, like you will say, okay, I want to, be the master of one. Pick one area and have your, expertise in that area. Like, let's say maybe you want to work on the AI solution, work on the, maybe from the, fintech, finance solution. If you not finance, maybe you want to work more on the marketing solution. So pick one area. But if you will be thinking like, oh, I know everything, nobody hires anybody who knows everything, because it is the only the god who knows everything. So don't go with that kind of notion. So that is the only advice and suggestion which I give to my students. I give, tell my master students who come here from various countries to do their masters. So don't go for jack of all trades. Just be the master of one. That's it. People love those who know in and out of a one specific thing. So if you are having that expertise, they will hire you like anything. Or even if somebody would want to go for, they have that entrepreneurial thought process. It's good. That is also really good. But again, to start your own organization, you need to pick that one solution. You need to pick that one problem which no one else is providing, because this whole world, especially from the tech point of view, there are so many big sharks. You can't even imagine. They will eat you before you even start, enter into the market, because they are having access to lot of money. They are having access to lot of resources. So they will eat you within a fraction of second. So if you will be having the expertise, then it will be difficult. Like I always say, read the case of perplexity. If you the AI based solution, so the guy is from India. So read about him. So you will get to know that what he has done. That right now, the Apple is paying him so much. He is not even providing the complete solution to Apple, but still they are paying huge just for using the platform. So it is your expertise. That's it. So it is not something which is impossible to do. It is possible to do. The only thing that you need to understand, that you need to grab that one expertise. If you will be thinking of like going everywhere, then it will not solve for you. I hope it is helpful, today's session.
You are now
If,
unmuted.
as I said, if any one of you would have any question, you would like to connect, please reach out to me.
You are now
I will
muted.
try my level best.
You are now unmuted.
Thank you. Have a great evening, all of you. Bye bye.
You are now muted. You are now unmuted. You are now muted.